Welcome back, folks, and today we've got the Dmitry Provolsky. Now, the Kutuzov variant that anyone could get for a grind at the Journey to the North, or Voyage to the North Pole. That event had a lot of anger behind it. It was one of the ships that united the ops community for ops being included in mission criteria, which is great. We also found out, or I found out a lot of how ops are being made to be included from the NA community manager, Ahskance. He and I had a nice little chat on the Discord. And he explained to me what goes into showing and giving these ops more mission inclusiveness. And that will be in the video, and that'll be tagged and everything for you guys. But the ship in general, it's a Kutuzov. It's basically a Kutuzov. Now, there are two main differences. Two really main differences. The torps. Kutuzov gets 8-kilometer torps, and it gets high explosive. Now, Dmitry only gets armor piercing, and you will see how that becomes very difficult at certain ranges. And for sure, you'll see it in the video quite a bit. And to give you perspective, Devil Dog was able to join us in a Kutuzov. So you'll get to see both ships competing side by side. And we'll be practically staying by the hip for the most part. And you'll get to see just how the Kutuzov competes with the ship. Would I recommend Kutuzov over Provolsky? Yes. Because yes, the Kutuzov just has that little bit of edge over the torps and the HE. Just because of that. And the smoke's a little bit more generous and that it lasts longer. But the guns on this are definitely railguns. These are railgun 152s. They're decent guns for sure. The 152 is definitely of very impressive velocity by far. The range though, not the best. I wish we had a little bit more range, but it's decent at 18 kilometers. Concealment, about 11 kilometers, not the best. 18 for the range and 18 for the concealment, not bad. The AA, though, is decent, though. I haven't had a true chance to really test out the AA, and that's unfortunate that I haven't had a true shot to test it out. But, truthfully, I think it's a decent ship. I think it's very dependent on the ops, though. I think the worst op that I've had in it, that I just felt like I couldn't do anything, was Hermes. Hermes was probably one of the worst ones. And that was the first game I had in it, and I was third on the team. But there were times where I just didn't even fire because my armor piercing wasn't even doing anything. It was breaking. So I stopped shooting. But I think it's a decent little boat. If you have it and you don't really play it, keep the ship. Use it for the rewards at anniversaries and Christmas. Absolutely. Never sell a premium ship. But we will show you how the ship does. I think it was a pretty good game. But for, the build and everything, concealment, propulsion, aiming systems, steering gears, or engine room, sorry, and then main armaments. You do get the choice between Hydro and Def AA, and that's a tough one because it gets because of that AA. That AA is very potent But honestly, hydro and then your short burst smoke. Exterior wise, you get the classic two camel schemes. I think the blue one looks best. But let's show you how this ship does. It's definitely one of those ships that I'm just like not really sure on. Welcome back, folks, and today we've got myself and the Dmitry Provinsky with Devil Dog and the Kutuzov with teammates Massey, Sharnhorse 44, Flint, and Mahan. Now, Devil again went like all people, or for him being a whale, he spent more money on this year's Christmas containers and got 3 bundles gifted to him by friends. Not me. Unfortunately, through his other friends. And he got the one ship he was wanting this year, Enterprise. And he got literally every rare ship in the game.
This is the base
I think the only one he's missing are some kamikaze variants, but he basically has every goddamn rare ship now. I mean, kudos to him. So we did, a thing, and he hasn't really played the Kutuzov. Oddly enough, this is only my second game in the Dmitry. This is my second game. My first game was on Hermes. I wasn't very much impressed with it. That's why the ship kind of stayed in my port for a long time. So I was like, let's just try it. So I was ecstatic when I got this map. And, a lot of us that have ground out the Dmitry were very displeased with Wargaming when we learned that they were not going to include it in operations. And that was like the first very week. Now, I was actively on the Discord forums, like asking, are we going to get this in ops? Are we going to get this ops? And I had a very lengthy talk with Ahskance from the NA server. And he is actually one of the few, at least community managers that I am aware of, that are actively trying to push for more operations inclusion into the mission criteria. Apparently, from what I was told from Ahskance, that and how the process that he told me how it all works is that, let's say the developers, we're just going to say the devs start out with their template of, mission criteria that it's like, okay, we're going to have X amount of, battle modes that are going to be included. Then Ahskance comes around and reviews all that, and then makes the effort to put into the up the chain of command to include operations in this kind of criteria. Like every mission has to be, all these kind of things that have a deadline that have to be submitted by. Unfortunately, the voyage missed that deadline by a little bit of time, and so that's why it wasn't included. Now, we all were all asking, why is it not included? Could we do a hot fix? And Wargaming only does those kind of things in the most when they really need to, because according to them, and I kind of agree with this on this, is that when these events go live, the coding's already done. So to redo that coding can be a problem. Some of them may seem simple, but to re-add that coding to include operation can be a little bit more difficulty. And it could have unintended consequences. But there was a lot of displeasure around it. I was displeased. I wasn't really going to go for it. I thought about trying to go for it, playing randoms for those 2 months, and being like, okay, I'm going to go for it, and then I'm going to do a review for you guys and be like, is the ship worth it? Fortunately, we were very much lucky that when the patch rolled around the following week and everything rolled around, Wargaming had taken ample notice of all the operation players wanting this. This was a ship that united the community, at least, especially the operations community, and was like, we want this in operations. We want this ship. Because this was a chance for a lot of people that had not gotten the Kutuzov to get a Kutuzov variant. And we wanted that ship. This was a ship that united the operations community behind getting that shit, behind this ship and having that criteria. We made our voices heard. And it was like, I think it was at least 6 in the morning or so, 6 or 4 in the morning, when I looked on my phone and saw the Discord message from Chrysantos from the EU was saying that, hey everybody, we've taken into your voices and everything, and we've included the voyage to the North Pole and the operations criteria. So that was a great, I was very happy when I woke up and saw that. And I'm sure a lot of operation players were happy that when they woke up and saw that message. But as far as the review and the gameplay portion of the ship, you're seeing honestly the very best the ship can perform at. Cruisers, broadsides, everything. Honestly, would I recommend this ship? Probably not. As a free ship, it's pretty good. But I think if you wanted the real, but there is no beating the original. I'm sorry, but there's no beating the original. Because the original has HE and AP, and gets 8-kilometer torps, while the Dimitri only gets 4K torps, and gets a smoke. But unlike the Dimitri that gets a short burst smoke and the Hydro, the Kutuzov gets Def AA and a normal smoke. So there are some trade-offs. Are they good trade-offs? It really depends. It really does depend. I think it depends a lot on the player and just how you are doing things. For sure. Absolutely. I think it just depends all over the game. All over them. Across the board and everything. It really just depends on the player. Do I think that the ship's good for a good ship? For a free ship, it's actually really good. But it's very dependent on the matchmaking and random. It's very dependent on the map and operation. It only plays well on certain maps. My first one was on Hermes, and I did get third. But I didn't really feel like I tried enough. I was shooting a lot of AP, and I was getting a lot of bounces. Like, we're going to take a quick look at my shots right now. Mostly overpens, penetrations, and a lot of ricochets and torpedo hits. That was even higher on Hermes. That's why I didn't play the ship till I made this video. It has been a ship I have not really wanted to play. But, Devil brought out his Kutuzov, I brought out mine. So we were going to just have some fun. We were having a fun day that day. That was a good day. We were just having fun playing asymmetrics, playing some operations. I think this was one of them that Volrom was actually AFK for. Yeah, he was AFK. He had to go do something. So me and Devil were playing some operations. And then we had switched up after this to asymmetric mode. But it was a good match. I think it really showed that together these two ships can work really good. If you put 3 of them, like 2 Dimitris and a Kutuzov, you could probably have a really potent combination there. But this ship really did unite the operations community, and a lot of the community united behind this ship, saying that we want operations included. And I know, and one of the things that did stick out to me was that when Ahskance told me all this,
Warship commanders, transport aircraft have
from my personal opinion, it made me feel like higher up operations were still seen as low on the priority in terms of being included, because it wasn't until the operations returned that, you know, Ahskance said that we had started seeing the rise of PVE Mains. Because before it had just been, you know, co-ops, PvP, player versus player main. It wasn't until operations returned for Tier 8 that we did start to see that PvE clientele kind of rise up. And we're getting there, folks. We're getting there. So what we need is more players playing operations and for more people to make their voice heard on the Discord forums. Absolutely. I think that would go a long way towards helping us get the Tier 9 ops that we all so desperately want. And then Tier 9 ops lead to Tier 10 ops. But if we can just get one Tier 9 up, that will allow people to grind up 6, 7, 8, 9, and go directly to the 10. And that will allow a lot of players to basically bypass randoms. And for a lot of players that have a lot of boosters like myself, guess what? That opens up a lot of possibilities because you have this vast supply of economic bonuses and you can play operations guaranteeing that literally every match you play is a victory. So you're pulling in maybe 10k, 20k XP really quickly. You throw a permanent package on there, that's going to just punch your ship grinding up significantly. And that's what I plan on doing. Once we get it, we're going to do maybe 2 or 3 ships at a time, buy the booster package, and then play that ship with some boosters and just grind my way up. And then switch to the next few ships. And again, and again, and again. But we need that Tier 9 off wargaming. And I know the community wants it. I know they want it. A lot of my community that I talk with, fairly, not that often. I've kind of been on the, I guess you could call it a slight sabbatical from warships. I've still been doing the channel. I've still been doing this, uploading videos. But in terms of making my personal content, like the reviews, the own mode, I've been spending time off of ships because I needed to work on some stuff in my actual life. I needed to put my real life first. But now we're starting to get back into where we can put more time into the game. And you know, a lot of you might have, I've been playing a lot of Marvel Strike Force also. And as far as, you know, uniting the community, I know another issue that I posted on the Discord personally that I was concerned about, and it does still concern me. It still concerns me a lot, is if wargaming neuters or changes the battle pass. It worries me. Sorry. Because for the past year, from November to this last December, to the last November of 2023, the Battle Pass has been very well received. I have very much liked this Battle Pass. It allows me to get a good amount of steel without having to go through the stress of ranked and clan battles. Give or take, you know, clan battles have to take a backseat because of my real life. And I want to return to clan battles, but I know a lot of players were, especially myself personally, that super ship clan battle season really took it out of me. And that really killed my interest and really rose my stress levels to where I was just like, no, I can't play for a while. I need to take some time off to recover. And it took the rest of that season and the whole next season just to get my energy back for clan battle. It took a lot of energy. It was hard on me. And then there was the fact of constantly uploading, making my own videos, doing on top of that, and then spending time with the girlfriend That's a lot of time and effort. And it gets tiring. And if you're playing the game from, let's say she goes to work at like 9.
Пожарная тревога.
Let's say she gets home at 5. You're playing from after you do your chores and everything from, I don't know, let's just say 11 to 4:30. That's like 5 hours on the game, just doing normal stuff. Recording, making the videos. And then you turn around, and at 4:30, you have to go back to clan battle. That's another 3 to 4 hours. That's like 8 hours on this game. Don't ask me how I did Citadel that North Co. I have absolutely no idea how I did. Believe me, that took me by surprise. But it's hard. It is hard.
Aircraft carrier Raptor destroyed.
Having to, you know, balance the clan, balance real life, make the videos, record the videos, read down, commentary, all the replays that I get sent, and then spacing those replays out. It's hard. That's part of the reason why we've gone to 2 days permanently now, because it just makes my life a lot easier. And I know a lot of you have, you know, I've become a little bit more selective on the replays. I will, for the most part, unless it's someone that I know, like Rokatsuki, Volra, any of my normal ones that if you're already on the channel, on the YouTube channel, and have, have a video submitted, then you're more than likely to get it automatically, you know, recorded. It's already going to go through. For the newer ones, I usually watch it, and we'll see if I want to put it on there.
Reporting the position of a strategic target.
I would say though, even though that sounds bad, for a huge part of it, a lot of players that I would honestly say don't worry about it. Send me the replays anyway, because the only thing I could offer at price, if you offer me a high damage game in a ship, low tier ship, could be any ship you want to play, guess what? The odds are it's going to be on the channel. You might not see it for a few months, but it's still going to get uploaded. And of course, usually the first person that usually submits a replay, the very first one they send me, gets a priority upload that it gets pushed ahead of everyone else's. And then afterwards, you fall back into the normal queue of, well, you're aligned with everyone else. Your video is still going to get featured, but you're going to not be priority anymore. And that's just how I balance things. There are a few times where I will move one forward, like Lord Slayer did some asymmetric modes for us, and he had Kitakami. He was the very first one to send us Kitakami. So he received a priority upload because I wanted to show that for the channel. To show people, hey, this is Kitakami. This is what the ship plays like. And to let you guys so you guys would know if you wanted it. I have a whole process of doing this. And I'm constantly refining that process every day. And I'm trying my best here. I'm doing, now there goes Devil. And as far as the Dimitri goes, back to the review portion, it's a good ship. You can tell that we're at 600 target hits. We're going to cross 600 target hits. And it really is dependent on the map, for sure. You get the wrong kind of map, the penetrations, the torpedo hits, and the ricochets are all going to go backwards. Like, instead of getting penetrations, door bend, those numbers are going to go down into these three numbers. It really is dependent. And like, see, once you get that slight angle on that Missouri, the ricochets just start piling up. You have to be basically flat broadside to really do anything. Otherwise, you're aiming for that superstructure and trying to get that damage elsewhere. And this was probably one of my highest games, being my second one. And I was playing, you guys could see it, I was playing super aggressively. But we made a decent amount of credits a heck of a load of ship XP and a solid 2,000 free XP. Natural selection, C-Star Assistant, 9 kills, 350k, 630 target hits. Now you can look at those numbers and just see that a huge part of that was literally nothing but ricochets, torpedo hits, non-penetration, and overpins. For team score, we still made top. With Devil and his Kutuzov that he hasn't played much being second. That's really good. I was very pleased with that we were both on top. With the Flint and the Mahan being third and fourth. Seeing the double Scharnhorst and the Massey on the very, very bottom. That was very sad to see, honestly. I was actually very sad. And I kind of was disappointed in their gameplay. Because those are all great, really strong ships. And to see them play like that was very disappointing. But you can see that against broadside cruisers, it's a beast. Against broadside battleships like the Northco, it'll chunk it. You can see that the battleships, it does slowly chunk, but it works the best against cruisers. And there's only a few cruiser ops like Cherry Blossom, Ultimate Frontier. You could probably work with Killer Whale and maybe Raptor Esky if you got lucky. But it's really all over the place. There's only a few ops that it really works on. Otherwise, you're going to be ending up like where the Mahan and the Flint are. That would be your standard placement. If you get a really bad match, you're going to be down even lower. But this ship really is one of those that is really dependent on the player. It really depends on the player to really maximize it. Same with the Kutuzov. But we made a decent profit of 400,000 without any boosters. And then with our daily 200% that we got from the Christmas thing, we got a decent amount of ship XP. And then with a gray booster, we made a solid 2k free XP. And then, well, the bonus and then everything, got a nice amount of commander XP. Now, Kutuzov and Dmitry are one of those ships that you literally need a dedicated captain. If you have, like I have a bunch of captains that are just laying around, you know, on other ships, I just move them on. They're like, say you have a carrier captain, you have a battleship captain, you have a DD captain, like a Groningen, or not Groningen, but Grozlovoy, or the, whatever the other tier 10 one is. It's just sitting around. Throw it on the Kutuzov. That high point captain can be spec'd solely for this ship. But it was a really good game. And I was very pleased that I performed that well, being my only second game. But that's the Dmitry for you, folks. And there's a lot of back history, a lot of topics in this video that were on my personal mind, how the channel is going, my view thought, and how we were able to get the Provinsky included in operations. There was a lot of backstory behind, you know, the actual stuff that goes on the Discords. And I do pay attention to the Discord and will actively, you know, try to be there for the operations community, asking those kind of questions. Because when this thing first came out on the Voyage, I was one of the first to take notice, and I put that on the Discord and was active in trying to figure out what was going on. And you can check my community post on my channel and go back through, and you'll find that there was a notification there saying that, you know, this is what I found.